welcome back to Talking Nonsense. We're a little late doing this one, a day late, but been a little bit busy this weekend, so trying to get our studio finished. For anybody that cares for a little update, we got it wired yesterday, so it's ready to be insulated, sheetrocked, and that's about it, I think. After that, we'll have it to where we can go in.
Very exciting.
I'm kind of excited to not do it on this couch anymore. But
I'm comfy.
yeah. So anyway, this week I figured we'd kind of talk about something that's been on my mind a lot, and I'm sure it's been on everybody else's mind. It's about all you see. Again, I don't go on social media a lot anymore, but when I do, it's like the only thing that pops up, and it's frustrating and irritating to me. I'm sure you see a lot of it, but we kind of talked a little bit about it last time, I think. Just all the anti-ICE protests going on. It's just, in my opinion, quite ridiculous, and I don't even know what to call it other than that, to be honest with you.
I can call it a distraction.
Well, and
In my
that's what a
opinion.
lot of people are calling it too, because the ICE thing really vamped up after all the fraud was discovered. So a lot of people are saying that it is a distraction because nobody's talking about the fraud anymore. All anybody can talk about is ICE. But what frustrates me is ICE has been around for a very, very long time. It's not something new. Some people out there are trying to make it look like this is something that Trump put together, that he assembled ICE, that he created this whole department, and anybody with a functioning brain know that that's not true. And ICE serves a purpose. People also say they're not law enforcement. That is 100% incorrect. They are. They're federal law enforcement. They have a job. Their job is to try to keep us safe. Everybody in this country safe. All these protests, they mainly started after the lady in Minnesota was shot. And then there was the guy a week later or something that was also shot. And yes, obviously it's terrible to have somebody shot by an officer, or shot in general, not even just an officer, shot in general. But there's also a lot more to the story than what's being put out there, and nobody cares to look at that kind of stuff. Everybody just wants to, well, not everybody. A lot of people wants to jump on the ban ICE train and anti-ICE and get ICE out, and there's a lot of it going on here in Utah too. I mean, it's all over out in Salt Lake. But you know, these stories, when they first happen, there's so many people that want to be the first ones to, I guess you could say, report on it, the first ones to talk about it, to bring it up, and they have no...
They want to be the source.
Yeah, they want to be the main source, and there's really no facts or anything out. There's no backstory. There's nothing. All there is Minnesota woman shot by ICE, or Minnesota man shot by ICE. That's all they have. So they just take it and they run with it because they want to be the first ones to talk about it. But almost every single time something like this happens, if you wait a week, not even a week, maybe 3 or 4 days, when they can actually start to investigate everything and look into everything, yeah, they were shot by ICE, but they weren't just standing on the sidewalk holding up a sign trying to say they believe in something.
Yeah, they were having some pushback.
There's a huge difference. When you're interfering with what ICE is trying to do, which is their job, whether you like it or not, that is their job, to remove illegal immigrants that are not supposed to be here. Their main focus is the criminals, the gang members, but at the end of the day, even if the person is a good person and they're not causing problems or anything like that, they're still illegal. They're still...
It's still breaking the law.
Yeah, and I think we mentioned this last time too, because now that I was going to say it, it's kind of coming back to me. They're still a criminal. They may not be a violent criminal, but if you break the law, it doesn't matter what the law is, you are a criminal. So people want to say, well, they're not criminals. They haven't done anything wrong. Well, you're already wrong right there because they have. They came here illegally. Were they let in? Yes. Did they have any issue getting in? No. Should they have an issue getting in? Yes. There's a process. You want to come here? That's fine. I think the majority of people in this country would say the same thing. Come on over. That's fine. But there's a way to do it.
Just
You know,
do it right. Yeah.
there's a lot of people that come here that have come here the right way. They've went through the process, and it's like a giant slap in the face for them because they took however long it took them to do it, the money that it cost them, the process they had to go through. But then you've got 20 plus million here that didn't do anything. They just showed up. They get taxpayer money, they get health care, they get education, they get housing, they get food, they get everything. And I don't understand how American citizens are not upset about that, because I am. I'm very upset about it. I go to work every single day, sometimes 8 hours, sometimes 12 hours, sometimes 14 hours. Every single day, all year long, to give up half of my money in taxes. Most of that money is going to everywhere except where it should be going. Nothing is ever done in our country to make it better, to make improvements, to make life easier, better for all of us.
Doesn't go to veterans.
No,
nothing.
it goes to people that shouldn't be here, and politicians. Those are the two places our taxpayer money goes. We are still sending billions of dollars to Israel, and I, for the life of me, cannot figure out why. I mean, I have ideas, but that's neither here nor there. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't be going there. Shouldn't be going to Ukraine. Shouldn't be going to any country that is not the United States. Period. There's no reason for it. Until everything here is fixed and better for American citizens, our money should not be leaving this country. But there's a lot of evidence and proof that shows, say we send 10 billion to another country, they only receive a small portion of it. So where's the rest of it going? Well, it's making a giant loop, and it's coming right back, and it's going in politicians' pockets. It's been going on for a very long time. Some people don't want to believe it, but that's because they don't want to look into it. Sometimes the source that's reporting on it, they don't want to listen to that source because it might not be a source that they generally listen to, or it's a source of the opposite side, or whatever, which is complete bogus. If there's proof, if there's evidence, it doesn't matter who reports it. The truth is the truth. You don't have to like the person, but it doesn't matter. That changes nothing. But we are so wrapped up in left versus right, the race wars, the gay versus straight, you name it. We're so wrapped up in all that crap that we can't understand that it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, gay, straight. You're American. That's really all that matters. And why people can't get that through their head, I don't understand. I don't know if they don't want to, or if they really are just too dumb to see it. I don't know. I really don't understand. But it's not hard to see. All you got to do is dig in just a little bit for yourself, and by a little bit, I mean a little bit if you really don't want to do too much digging, because there's a lot of people that cover this stuff. But the people that are covering it, most people consider right-wing, so they think it's all just BS. But like I said before, it doesn't matter who reports it. The truth is the truth. If there's facts and if there's evidence and proof of it, it is what it is. It doesn't matter if a Democrat reports it or a Republican reports it. It makes zero difference.
I find it tough to even find a trustworthy site. Who to trust?
Well, it's hard. And I've told people on here before who I listen to, and I'm sure some people have said, well, yeah, they're right-wing. Tucker Carlson is right-wing. Tucker Carlson also has a very good track record. If he's wrong, he will come back and admit that he's wrong. I've heard him say it. He talks about all the time. He defended the Iraq War when we went over there. He now will tell you all the time that he wishes he didn't. He made a mistake because we shouldn't have been over there. That's a whole nother topic. We're not going to get into it here, but if you want to dive into it, dive into it. We should have never went to Iraq. They had nothing to do with what happened here. So,
I didn't know that.
yeah, it's a lot of people don't, but a lot of people don't want to look into things. They just want to go off of what they hear.
Or just not know to look into things.
Well, but there's people that go off of headlines and they stand behind it 100%, yet they have no idea what they're even standing behind.
Yikes.
You know, like we've talked before, there's videos all over the place of people in certain cities. They'll go up to somebody and say, hey, you know, I see there's a big protest here going on. I'm just kind of curious, you know, what you guys are protesting. They never can answer because they don't know. They're just there because they were told to be there, or they were invited to be there, but they have no idea what they're even standing up for. There's tons of evidence that protesters, I'm not saying all of them, but protesters are being paid to go to these cities and protest. We'll go back to Minnesota for a minute. The lady that was shot and killed by ICE. She drove 5 hours to be at that protest. Why are you even there?
Why go so far out of your way?
5 hours away, not your city, not your place, but you're going up there, blocking the road from ICE officers, screaming at ICE officers, not getting out of the way when they tell you you need to leave, and you end up dead. You know, that's one of those things, like, it's a terrible thing that she's dead, but you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. If you want to go protest, but you don't need to be blocking the road. You don't need to be getting in their way and interfering with them doing their job. You don't have to like their job, but it does not matter. Their job is their job, and they have laws that they need to uphold, which they are doing. You know, the guy that was shot, I didn't really look a whole lot into that one because it all just irritates me so bad, because most of the time, if the people wouldn't have been doing what they were doing, they wouldn't have been shot. I did see a video of him. I can't remember I think it was a little bit before it happened. He was screaming at an ICE officer telling him, assault me, mother effer, shoot me in the head.
Didn't he spit at him?
Yes, he's screaming at the guy for several minutes, and then the guy goes to get in his car and he spits at him. Well, what do you expect to happen out of all this when that's how you're acting? You know,
people will call that victim blaming, though.
Call it whatever you want. I call it how I see it. You're in the way. You're doing something you shouldn't be doing. Like I said, if you want to protest, protest. It's freedom of speech, right?
Right.
Most of us agree with freedom of speech. I'm not saying I don't have to believe in what you're protesting. That doesn't mean I don't think you should be doing it.
But I think, isn't the right for peaceful protesting? Isn't there that little...
Yeah, it is.
Little
keyword, and there's another point that keeps getting brought up too. You have the right to protest, but do you still have that same right when you're being paid to do it? Because people are being paid to protest, whether you want to believe it or not. They are. Not all of them, but people are. When we went through all this George Floyd stuff, there were buses being brought in. There's videos of it. You can go find them. You can see it for yourself. They get off
pallets of rocks.
Yes, pallets of bricks, rocks. Yeah. But they get off the bus. They all go the same direction. They stop at a table. They pick up a sign. And then they go and get in their line. The signs are already made. They are already wrote on. They already say what they want them to say. They just go out there and start screaming and make noise. Now, one that's been going on here in Utah, it didn't say where it was, it just said Utah, and I've seen the video several times, and it pisses me off every time I see it. There's a truck driving down the highway. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they were driving back and forth, you know, kind of like antagonizing the protesters. I don't know, because it doesn't show that. But what it does show is the truck comes by, and a kid on the sidewalk, and these are like middle school kids, grabs a giant rock and throws it at this truck and hits the windshield. The truck comes to a stop, and I'm waiting for the guy to get out. He doesn't. He stops for a second, and then he takes off. But that is BS. That is not protesting. Even if the guy is driving back and forth, maybe he's screaming, like hollering stuff at you, maybe he flipped you off, whatever he did, but correct me if I'm wrong, he's doing the same thing you're doing. It's just for a different cause. Right?
Right.
Even if he is
Sure.
driving up and down the road. He is yelling and standing up for what he believes in, just like they are yelling and standing up for what they believe in. So where do they get the right to pick up a rock and throw at this guy's truck? What if it goes straight through that windshield and hits that guy in the head?
Right, and then he dies.
Then what? Then what was your cause all about?
Yeah, what point did you prove?
But here's another thing. The cops aren't doing anything about it.
I think they're terrified.
The guy gets to drive off with a shattered windshield from some punk-ass kid that threw a rock at him, and because like I said, I don't know if he drove by one time. He may have been driving back and forth. I really have no idea. I haven't seen any other video other than that 30-second clip. But again, even if he was driving by for 15 minutes, it doesn't matter. He's doing the same thing you're doing. It's just a different cause. But because you disagree with him, you think it's okay to throw stuff at him. To me, where's the line?
It's where you take action.
Well, but they all think it's totally fine for them to do what they're doing, but it's not okay for him to do what he's doing. He didn't throw anything at them. If he did, it sure doesn't show it. So again, maybe he did. I don't know. And if he did, then he's just as much in the wrong as they are.
And they very well could have edited that video perfectly to make it look that way too.
And that's what I'm saying. It could have
Yeah.
been edited. It could not be the full video. I don't know. But what I know is what I see in the video. And like I just said, if he is doing something like that, then he's just as much in the wrong as they are.
Yeah.
But according to the video, he didn't throw anything. They threw a rock at him. And this happens all over the place. He's not the only one that has something thrown in his car. Now, in my mind, at that point, you're no longer peacefully protesting. You're committing violence.
Yeah, that's violent.
Whether you want to, maybe it's on a scale from 1 to 10, maybe it's a level 1 violence, but it's still violence.
Well, if you were standing there on the corner of the street and you threw a brick into someone's window without a crowd around you, you would be seeing some serious charges.
Cops are being brought in. You're probably going to be arrested. You're going to be charged for vandalism, whatever else they might get you for.
If you were standing with a crowd, that seems way more serious.
But that's the problem. Just because they're protesting,
That
apparently
sounds like
they're
a riot.
untouchable, which I don't understand. Now, what would happen if that guy stopped, got out of his car, went over to that kid and whooped his ass?
That guy
The
would
guy
have
would be
gone
sitting
to
in jail.
Yeah,
He'd be sitting in jail right now.
for sure.
But the kid can throw a rock at him, shatter his windshield, with a possibility of it going through the windshield and causing injury to him.
And what if
And the
there's
kid walks
kids
on down
in
the
that
road.
Car? You know, I don't. There's so much.
But this is the kind of stuff that I don't understand, that there's so many people that support this kind of stuff and they're okay with it. That's what I don't understand. But as soon as somebody stands up against it and tries to say something, they're the bad guy. They get blasted all over social media.
Yeah.
People are screaming at them, threatening them, following them. Like, who the hell are these? Who do these people think they are?
I mean, I'm not stoked that these agents are going out and killing people. Like,
But are they just going up and shooting people?
No, but also, all things considered, I think that people are also forgetting that there's more to the story.
Yeah, like
you
take the
know?
lady in Minnesota, for example. She drove her car towards the agent. What is he supposed to do? Stand there and hope she doesn't hit him?
Well, and we cannot, we all heard that, there was that law that was passed not that long ago. If they're having a vehicle come at them, they can use deadly force.
Yeah,
if needed.
passed by the Minnesota governor.
The man himself.
But people are so pissed off at ICE because he did that. Well, what's he supposed to do? Please tell me what's he supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, if that's me standing there and someone's driving at me and it looks like they're going to hit me, I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to stand there and be like, oh, can't do anything because it'd be wrong. I sure hope she doesn't hit me. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The guy, he may have a family to go home to. He may have a wife, kids. Maybe he doesn't, but he's still got a life of his own.
I like that they act like they're illegal themselves. Like,
What?
why? Like, because they are, like, charging at these agents as if they are breaking the law.
Well, yeah, because
I mean, they are breaking the law, but it's like,
they
why
don't
are you even, like, starting it?
they don't think these agents are actual law enforcement. They think it's just a group that Trump put together to go out there and cause problems. There's people saying it. I've seen videos of people talking about it. This is Trump's doings. Well, yeah, in a way, because he's the leader. He's the commander-in-chief. He's the president. So he is ordering ICE to do their job. A department that has been around for years for one purpose. To keep people out of here that's not supposed to be here. You know, and then people want to start jumping to the, well, you're breaking up families. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If the parents came here illegally, they should not be here, and their families shouldn't either. If they want to come back the right way, please do. Come on in, be a part of our society, and do what you got to do.
Yeah, be a working member of
But
society
that's another
like the
thing.
rest of us.
That's another thing. If someone comes here as an immigrant, they are coming to our country, our culture. You need to adapt to our culture, to our way of living. It's okay to still have your culture and, you know, believe in the things that you grew up believing in and stuff like that. Our country is ran off of our culture. And if you don't like it, you can go right back where you came from. There's certain things this country was founded on and built upon, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But we've gotten so far away from that it makes all of us, the American citizens, it makes us look like the bad people, because we're saying, no, we don't want that. We don't want them here. We don't want them doing that. This is how we're supposed to be. And that's how I full-heartedly believe. I can't go to Mexico, Venezuela, Honduras, wherever these people are coming from, and just go and do anything I want to do and demand money and demand health care and demand you take care of my family, and if you don't, then I go out and burn buildings and destroy cars and attack the police. That's not going to fly.
You wouldn't even make it fun.
No, it's not going to fly. And I'd be willing to bet if I go there and start making a bunch of noise and wave my American flag around, that's not going to fly either. Because I'm not in America.
Or burn their own flag in their
Yeah.
country. Crazy.
But yet these people get away with it. You know, Andy Frisella, he makes a good point, and he talks about the ones that are being paid. They know where the money's coming from. There's stone cold evidence of it. There's paper trails. It's coming from the Soros Foundation. It's got a name to it. I can't remember what it's called, but it's funded by George Soros, ran by his boy. You cut the head off the snake, you cut the funding right there, you arrest the people, seize the bank account that's paying them, this crap goes away.
Do you think it's that simple?
Yeah. How are they going to get... They're not going to go if they're not going to get paid. Half of them don't even know why they're going, other than they're going to get X amount of dollars for the day they go. Yeah, they probably know the main cause. ICE shot the lady. ICE officer shot the lady. Okay, yeah, let's go all in. We're going to get paid this much money. When they discovered all this, it was when the riots for George Floyd was going on. That's when they first discovered that some of these protesters were being paid. Because they started noticing, hold on a minute, you know, when they would arrest people, 90% of the people they were arresting were not even from the area. From miles and miles away, states away. So it started making people think, what is going on here? These people are here protesting. They did this, you know, whatever happened, we had to arrest them. This happened in, I forget, where was Floyd?
That was also Minnesota.
It was, it was Minnesota.
It's like around the corner.
It's right, it was Minnesota. So we're arresting these people in Minnesota for protesting this stuff, but this guy's from, I'm not saying this, I'm just picking this guy's from Texas. Or this guy's from Oklahoma, or this guy's from New Jersey, or what are you even doing here? You're not even from here, but you're here causing problems. You're throwing stuff, you're burning stuff, you're rioting, and you're states away.
Make a point.
So they start looking into all this kind of stuff, and I don't know how they figured it out. I'm not sure, but there is evidence out there. Like I said, you can find it if you really want to. The paper trail leads back to Soros. A lot of money is coming from him. Now here's a kicker to that. You know where the money's coming from that goes to Soros, to the foundation?
The Clintons.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's coming from us.
Oh.
It's taxpayer money that's going into an NGO The NGO gives money to that foundation as a charity, and that money's funneled out to these protesters.
NGO.
It's a non-government... Oh, crap. I can't remember what it's called. It's like a...
Look it up for us.
It's like a middleman. Gosh, stupid form. But yeah, it's basically like a middleman. If this will load. Non-governmental organization. So it's a non-profit voluntary citizens group formed at local, national, and international levels to address issues like human rights, environment, or health, operating independently of government control. So it's taxpayer money, and again, there's proof on this too. It's out there. It's accessible to find and read about all this. I'm not going to give links or anything like that because if you really want to know, you can do your own homework. I'm not going to do it for you. You can go look into this, or you can just say that I'm a boneheaded, right-wing, Trump-loving, what's the new word they use? Bootlicker, and just say that I'm full of it, and that's fine. It doesn't matter. But when I hear this stuff from a Tucker Carlson or an Andy Frisella, I don't just listen to it and be like, oh, that's what happened. I'll go and start trying to find some of these stories and read more into it and be like, okay, well, they did mention this, or, I'll kind of do my own digging into it. I don't just take what they say as gospel truth, like some of it is kind of easy to because they both have great track records of what they talk about, but I still don't just take it and run with it because I'm always interested to see, is it being stretched a little bit, or did that really happen, or is it really that much money, or whatever. So I go and try to find it and look into it.
Yeah.
And on Andy's show, they'll always post the links and the stories and stuff in their on their website, so you can go on there and find that initial story, and then how the internet works, you can click on that and then you can branch off and find different stories from different sources, and find out if they match or whatever, or if one has different than the other. But and that's another thing that really pisses me off, is part of my tax money is going to pay some of these people that are going and causing chaos, basically, throughout the country. And you look at where a lot of these protests are happening. I'm sure they're happening all over, but all the ones they focus on, it's your big major cities. Within the last week, I've started seeing Salt Lake in it quite a bit. So it's now in the mix. Well, we have a lot of new people here in Utah within the last really 10 years, but really within the last 5 years. A lot of people have moved here. A lot. That's fine. But when you ask some of these people why they left, like from California, for example, a lot of the answers you get is it's too expensive to live there anymore, or I don't like the way things are going, or I want to get away from the politics in California. There's several reasons of why people move here. But a lot of times they come here and they bring their political beliefs that they were getting away from and start implementing them here. And it just makes no sense to me. You left California because high taxes is one of them. Cost of living. Like, you think it's expensive here. California's a lot worse than we are. But you leave all that kind of stuff because you don't like it, but yet you're coming here and you're kind of making this the same type of thing. Like,
there's a lot of groups that do that.
A ton.
Like in Dearborn, they're all changing it to, what is that group of people that's over there that's taking over, basically? Islamic?
Oh, like the Muslim people?
I don't know. I used the wrong word.
Well, that's another issue that's going on.
Just changing. Have you seen any of the videos? Seeing what's going on in Dearborn?
I haven't seen a lot of it. I've just heard some of these guys talk about it.
You'll have Domino's, and then it says it in their language underneath it, and then Walgreens, and then it says it in their language underneath. So it's why? You left there, but you're gonna make it here?
Well, and it's kind of like the Somalians, or whatever they're called, the Somalia people in Minnesota. It's the same type of thing. They've turned it into their own little community state type of thing. It's the same exact thing you just said about Dearborn. You know, and in Dearborn they have their open prayer calls, which, okay, whatever, you know, we have a freedom of religion here, so fine. But then you have a woman being arrested for praying outside of uh, the abortion clinic, the Planned Parenthood.
Wait, what happened?
Outside of the Planned Parenthood, I think it was in Michigan, just praying because she's pro-life.
Okay.
I don't know what she said, but she was knelt down, she was praying. They arrested her for praying in public in front of Planned Parenthood.
Well, yeah, those prayer calls, that's so contradicting.
It's the same thing.
Because it's the same thing. That's
same exact
the
thing.
number one complaint. They say it's too loud, it's 5 in the morning.
Yeah, same thing.
Everyone's trying to sleep.
And this is what I wish people would understand.
It's because I would be, what was that woman's race?
That got arrested for praying? She was a white woman. It was a white woman.
And if she's pro-life, there's a good chance she's Christian.
I can't remember if they said she was Christian or not, but
it's, you know, I don't like to make everything about race, but my heck.
But that's what it is. That's what they bait us into. You know, they bait us into Christian versus Muslim, white versus black, blue versus red, gay versus straight. Like, they bait us into all of this. And I really believe that most people don't care who you are, what you look like, your sexual preference. Like, I really don't think most people care. I don't.
Yeah, but like,
the only thing I
don't care, just leave me out of it.
The only thing I care about is the hypocrisy. That's what pisses me off. When you arrest a woman for praying outside of a Planned Parenthood because she doesn't believe in abortion, she's pro-life, but you allow another group of people to do open prayer calls in the middle of the streets and the wherever they want to do it, how is that right? Yeah. If one can do it, the other can do it. They both should be allowed to do it because it is a freedom of religion in this country. You don't have to be a certain specific religion. You can be and believe and practice whatever you want.
That's the beauty of America.
But why can't people understand that? Like, I'll be honest with you, if I were in Salt Lake, okay, and I don't even know how it works, so if I did see it, I probably wouldn't even know what it was. I mean, I kind of have a general idea, I guess, but if I saw a group of Muslim people in Salt Lake City doing their prayer call, do you know what I'm going to do?
What's that?
Keep going wherever I'm going. Because why do I care? Are they hurting anybody? Are they causing chaos? Is there violence going on? Are they threatening me? Are they threatening anyone else? Not that I'm aware of.
Right.
So why do I care? It's the same thing. Same freaking thing. Why do I care? Why do you care? Mind your own business. That's what this all comes down to. If no one is in harm, no one is being threatened, mind your own damn business. And a lot of these problems would go away. It's really not that hard to fix. It really isn't. But the people of this country have to understand that we're not against each other. We are not the problem here. Me, as a Republican, registered Republican, who voted for Trump, I am not the registered Democrat Joe who voted for Kamala's enemy. Like, I'm not, and you're not my enemy either. You vote for who you believe in, and that's fine. That's what the whole election is supposed to be about. But another thing that people do, they dedicate themselves to a certain politician, and they will run with that politician no matter what's said, done, happens, comes out. It doesn't matter. They will stick by that person. To me, that's wrong. Yes, I've been a big Trump supporter. Voted for him every time, as I've said before. But there's things he's done that I'm like, what? What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And like with him, when he ran, his campaign promises were immigration, taxes, and I can't remember the other big one that he really ran on. Well, we're still dealing with immigration. We're still paying a ridiculous amount in taxes. Oh, and the Epstein stuff was the other thing. Oh. Those were kind of like the three main things.
Who cares about that?
None of it has been solved. None of it. I mean, I know he's only been in, what, a year, a little over a year? Or no, a year.
A year, yeah.
Just barely over a year. But still, like, yeah, they've deported some people. And it's been a freaking mess.
Mm.
But in my opinion, they haven't done enough.
Well,
Because the problem's not going away. It's not even slightly starting to go away.
yeah.
It's just as big as it was before he came in. And when we talk about deportations, this was another thing that I had wrote down here. Tom Homan, which I think we've talked about him before, is the border czar. Which basically he's kind of the go-get-em guy, right? We may have already said this, but I'm going to say it again. He was the border czar for Obama when Obama was in office. For his work and dedication on his handling of illegal immigrants, he was awarded from Obama a presidential medal. Yeah, presidential medal.
So
That-
he worked for Obama first. Just to
Yes,
clarify.
yes, Obama,
Yeah.
and again, people, it's out there. If you want to go find it, you can find it. You can see the pictures, the video, everything. It's there. Now, you fast forward to Trump's second term. The same guy, Tom Homan, is the border czar for Donald Trump, trying to do the same job. He is now compared to Hitler. He is smeared all over the place for what he's trying to do. He is now the bad guy for doing the same job he did for Obama. If you can explain that to me, people, and tell me why he is now all of a sudden a bad person, I am all ears. You can sit on this couch right next to me and we can talk about it. Because right now, it makes no sense to me either. How do you praise a guy for doing a job under one president, but under another doing the same job, he's the worst guy on earth? Please explain to me how that happens. And you go look up the numbers of the people that were deported under Obama, far surpasses the amount of numbers that Trump has deported. By far.
In the first term of Trump.
In Trump's first term and second term.
Adding them together. Even.
He deported way more people than what Trump has deported. It wasn't a problem then.
Maybe someone should write a letter to Congress or something. And just try to make a difference.
Well, it's funny you say that, talking about writing letters to Congress. Let's jump right into that. Because there are videos and pictures and stories of mainly women saying we need to write letters to our congressman to get rid of ICE. Okay, well, I have a question. For anybody out there, and if you want to write a letter, by all means, write a letter. That is your right to do so. Write it in. Send it to all of them. Congressmen, senators. Send it to the president. But I want to ask you, when you write these letters, why don't you go ahead and include the names of the women and children that have been assaulted and murdered by illegal immigrants that you're so desperate to keep here? Make sure you include them in your letters and their families. You know, if you want ICE gone, but you're okay with leaving those kind of people here to continue doing what they've been doing, please include that in your letter and make sure it goes to all the congressmen, all the senators, and the president himself. Don't just write one part of the letter, put it all in there.
Very important.
You know, make sure you don't leave out any details. Because I think that is very important. In fact, maybe you should write a letter. Maybe we all should. And like I said, let's make sure to mention these American citizens that have been assaulted and murdered by illegals, who, some of them, have previously, at least once, sometimes more than once, been deported and allowed back in. Or there's a lot of them who have been arrested, put in jail, and released. There's one guy, I'd have to find the story, but there was one guy in particular they were talking about on one of the podcasts. 70 plus times he had been arrested and released for violent crimes, and after he was released after the last one, he murdered a woman, an American citizen. This guy, I can't remember. He may not have been an illegal. I'm not 100% sure on that. But
Like
the point still stands. These people, if you're an American citizen and you're committing these crimes, you have no business on the streets.
If you committed 70 different crimes, I'd be willing to bet they would do something pretty extreme to you. You'd probably be in prison.
Well, and here's a thought that a podcaster had, Andy, and when he said it made a lot of sense to me. This person in particular, every time he was arrested and went to court, was in the same district, same area. Well, why don't we go ahead and get a hold of that judge that keeps letting him out that eventually led to a murder of an American citizen? Why don't we hold him accountable?
That's like very
Because he obviously doesn't care. He's releasing them right back out with no care at all.
We all say the system is so bad, but yet we do nothing about it.
Yeah,
either.
I mean...
We just keep voting all the judges back.
See, but that's another problem that I have, because a lot of these guys keep saying, we need to do something. It is time for us to stand up. Well, what exactly do we do? Because the only thing we can do, that I'm aware of, is vote. You can try to get word out, you can try to share certain things, you can try to do all that stuff, but at the end of the day, all we can do is vote.
And even that, I feel like even is, what is the point? Because in our state, we voted for certain things, and they were like, nah.
And that's not just here. All over the country, people will vote for certain things on their ballot in favor or against, and it goes the complete opposite anyway. I personally, and call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever you want, I don't really care, but I personally do not believe in our election system anymore.
I don't think it's real.
I don't think it's legit, because I'm going to go back to California for a minute. People say that they leave because of the politicians that are down there and the way they're running the state and the way they're running the cities. They want out. Well, if there's that many people that's leaving and they claim they're voting against these people, then how are they still in power? How are they still getting these seats they're getting if that many people are really saying, if they actually did vote against these people? When they tried to get Newsom out a year or two ago, whatever it was, there was a vote of whether because it would have ended his term early. I can't remember what they called it, but basically it wasn't impeachment, but it was something to the word they used anyway. The voters in California voted to remove him.
Oh,
and he's still there. And he's still there. So how do these election processes mean anything? But I hear every podcast I listen to, we've got to do something. Now's the time. We have to stand up. And do what? Like, that's what I'm so confused about. And they always say, you need to go to your local level. Well, my local level here, we don't deal with any of this crap. So I can't do anything here. Now, local could also be Salt Lake, right? Like your local state officials.
Fair. Okay.
I don't know what to think of Cox, because there's a lot of things where I'm like, what in the freak is this guy doing?
That dude is wishy-washy.
But then he'll turn around and say something, and you're like, well, now that makes sense. Sometimes he follows through, sometimes he doesn't. But it's like, okay, so the only thing we can do is the next governor race, vote for another governor, which we all did the last time.
And wasn't he supposed to have some sort of signature?
Yeah, whatever.
And never got them?
Carly would know about that. Yeah, I had to have like so many signatures to be on the ballot or something, and didn't have it.
Not even supposed to be our dude.
But I can tell you, every single person that I talked to during the whole election thing voted for the other guy. I can't remember his name. And I'm sure people voted for Cox. I'm not saying he didn't get a single vote. But everybody I talked to voted for the other guy. All the signs that I saw throughout a lot of the basin, I seen some out in the city, all over. Every sign I saw, I didn't see a Cox sign anywhere. It was all this, gosh dang it, I can't remember this other guy's name.
Do you remember this last time too? They made a last second change to the ballots, and they made it so that one guy had to be wrote in a certain letter. He wasn't getting votes
because the name was different or something, or he didn't. Yeah, I
and
do
they
remember
had
something about
no
that.
idea. I think that also.
But how do
that
you?
Was on purpose.
How do you not have an idea? It's not like you have to hurry, and it's not like you have 24 hours to get ready for this election. Like it's the same time every cycle. You know it's coming.
Yeah,
so
how was that surprise?
how is everything not done the way it's supposed to be, and so that when the day comes, we're ready to go?
That's why I think something happened on purpose, because it was so convenient.
But I want to get back to this illegal immigrant and letter writing thing, because, like I said, please do write your letters. And make sure you put that other stuff in there. And I want to read something here. This is off the DHS website. And this is only a handful of them. There's many more. We'll just read through them here. 48-year-old Santiago Lopez Morales was shot and killed. A woman was held at gunpoint and sexually assaulted during a motel crime spree by Yosgur Aponte Jimenez, Jose Trevino Cruz, Jesus Bellerin Guzman of Venezuela in Texas in 2005. 37-year-old Megan Bose was found decapitated and hidden in a bleach-filled storage container after being reported missing, allegedly by Luis Mendoza Gonzalez of Mexico and Illinois in 2025. 42-year-old Maria Pleats and her 11-year-old daughter, Dayanara, were both killed in a car crash caused by Raul Luna Perez of Mexico in New Jersey. Now, before anyone says, well, yeah, that was a car crash. Okay, well, it was, but it was by an illegal who should not have been here driving on our roads.
Well, and if you've taken a driving test recently at all, they ask you, do you want English or Spanish?
English or Spanish, and that is ridiculous.
Let's do it all in English.
The next one, 15-year-old Luis Jackson Nanez Lopez was shot and killed while trying to protect his mother from an attempted rape by Gildardo Armando Martinez of Mexico and Kentucky in 2025. Armando Martinez also assaulted Luis's sister with a firearm. A man suffered life-threatening stab wounds after being attacked during a public soccer game by Jefferson Javier Lopez Tinoco of Honduras in Maryland in 2025. A woman was kidnapped and sexually assaulted by Jose Maldonado Zavala of Honduras in Texas 2025. A child was stalked and raped by Nicole Alexandra Contreras Suarez of Colombia in New York in 2025. 18-year-old Hallie Helgeson and 19-year-old Brady Healing were both killed in a car crash caused by Noelia Soraya Martinez Avila of Honduras in Wisconsin in 2025. A U.S. government official was stalked by Jose Madrid Reyes of El Salvador and Virginia in 2025. More than a dozen detainees and multiple ICE officers were nearly stabbed with scissors by Bass Ndei of Senegal in New York in 2025. A Chinese woman was kidnapped, tied up, beaten, and sexually assaulted after being trafficked and held captive for 5 days by Jose Armando Caracamo Perdomo of Honduras in Texas 2025. A U.S. Customs and Border Protection officer was shot in the arm and cheek during an attempted armed robbery by Christian Ibar Baroa and Miguel Francisco Mora Nunez of the Dominican Republic in 2025 in New York. A woman was sexually assaulted while walking on Independence Day by Kevin Contreras Mendoza of Mexico and Oregon in 2018. That's just a handful of them. There's a lot more. So you can go to dhs.gov and you can go to DHS Honors Victims of Illegal Alien Crime. Make sure you put that in there with your letter when you send it to your congressman.
Give it to them one more time.
DHS.com. DHS Honors Victims of Illegal Alien Crimes. It'll bring it up for you right there. So you want to go out and you want to make a fuss and you want to say ICE is wrong and they shouldn't be here and they need to leave.
Mention the victims.
Yeah, bring that up. Make sure you bring that up. And while you're at it, why don't you write a letter to the families of those people and explain to them how bad ICE is and how ICE needs to go away, because I'm sure they will disagree with you. Now, am I saying that every illegal immigrant is a violent criminal? No, I'm not. But what I'm saying is, for the problem to be fixed, they've all got to go. They all need to go. If they're not violent criminals, once they're gone, they can turn around, they can come back where they're supposed to come back to and go through the process. Until then, they don't belong here. And yes, it is a little bit sad when there's young kids involved, because it's not their fault. But guess what? It's not my fault either. It's not your fault. It's not the American citizen's fault. The birthright citizenship, I don't think I agree with that either. Do you know why that was brought about to begin with?
Fill me in.
The birthright citizenship was first brought about when slavery ended so that slaves could become citizens.
Right?
That's why the birthright citizenship that's why it was put together. But now, not just now, over the past years, it's been abused and manipulated to anybody. If your parents come here but you're born here, you're a citizen. Well, I don't think that's right. I don't agree with that. Yes, it's not their fault that their parents came here illegally before they were born. I understand that. But again, it's not my fault either. The reason I don't agree with it is because my tax money should not be paying for the illegal parents and, I guess, the citizen children. I'm sorry, but it shouldn't. There are a lot of very hard-working immigrants. I've worked around some in my oil field days. They work extremely hard. They work a lot. And they do provide. But if they are not here legally, I'm sorry, they don't belong here. You need to go back and either do your thing where you're from or come back the right way. That's all there is to it. That's the bottom line. We do not need to get wrapped up in because this is my belief and you believe. And if you disagree with me, that's okay. That's your right to disagree with me. What I'm trying to do is point out the obvious of this whole ICE protesting thing. They are not in the wrong by doing their job. Like I said before, you don't have to like their job. That's okay. But they still have a job. Their job, which is actually our laws. Their job is to uphold them. The same as a Duchesne County Sheriff, the same as a Salt Lake City police officer. Their job is to uphold the law. That's where I get frustrated when I see these protesters throwing stuff at other people. That is against the law. That is violence. You cannot do that. The police need to step up and they need to put a stop to it. These ones doing it in Utah in the videos I've seen are middle school kids. They need to be in school. If you want to protest, that's fine. When your bell rings at 3 o'clock and you're out of school, go protest. Go stand on the sidewalk, stand on the corner, stand wherever you want, not in the road, because that's BS too. Peacefully protest like you want to protest. People do not have to agree with you. I don't have to agree with them because I don't. But that's fine. If they're doing it the right way, good on them.
Right.
Go protest. But the second you throw something at somebody, the second you block the road, the second you pull your car out in front of an officer or an ICE agent, the second you harass an ICE agent, you're no longer doing it right and you deserve everything that comes your direction. That is my opinion.
Well, it just destroys the purpose.
Look at what's going on in this country. It is complete chaos. Complete chaos.
We look like asshats to the rest of the world.
I haven't read any of these books that I've heard about. And this might send people right to the stop button if they haven't already, but
Oh well.
there's a lot of books on communism. I haven't read into any of this stuff. I mean, these books or anything, so I don't know. But on the shows I listen to, they mention the books. And they tell you that it is a playbook of what to do to implement communism in a society. And I'm only saying what they say, so I'm not, don't take this as gold, but a lot of the things that are happening in this country right now are in a communism playbook.
Oh,
The
so
certain steps that are being done to try to get communism to take over. There was a book written in the 60s. I'd have to find it, but I've heard several. I've heard this brought up several times. It was written in like the 60s. And it talks about one of the main things you have to do for communism is to start manipulating the education systems.
Oh, great, because that's a crap show.
Look at the stuff that's going on in schools. I mean, it's obvious. Kids in schools are not taught what they are supposed to be taught.
You know what I just saw? There are professors in colleges right now saying that the kids that they're getting can't even read a sentence.
How are they in college?
I don't know. I think their teachers are just like, you're good, because they don't want to deal with them. Or there's just too many kids.
But that falls, if that's the case, that falls back on a professor.
Yeah.
If you have kids in your college class that can't read a sentence, they need to be gone.
It's so
It is your job to go to, whether it's the dean or whoever's in charge, and be like, look, I don't know what's going on here. You know, maybe not right off the bat. Maybe kids are nervous, or I don't know. Give them a fair chance, right? But at a certain point, they need to be going in and saying, hey, I'm sorry, I don't know how this kid got in here, but they can't even read a sentence. You know, this kid's
Right.
no longer in my class. I'm here to teach at this level, not back here at a kindergarten level trying to get this kid to learn how to read.
Could you imagine?
You know, and another thing in schools, in colleges, are these support groups. Support for what?
For what?
Grow up. You're an adult. Grow up. You don't need a cry room. You don't need a color room. You don't need a support room. Like, for hell's sake, grow up. You are 18 years old. You are a legal adult. And you're acting like you still need mommy and daddy to take care of you. Don't go to college.
18-year-olds are not like when we were 18-year-olds.
Well, and I'm not saying I was a perfect 18-year-old. I was an idiot. I did stupid.
I was pretty straight in.
I made my life harder than it needed to be when I was 18.
Can't wait.
I learned a lot of things the hard way because I was too stubborn to open my eyes and look at a bigger picture.
But hey, you learned something.
Yeah, I don't regret it because now it's kind of made me who I am now, and not like I'm a saint, but you know what I mean.
How cool is it?
But like, why are we not teaching kids what they actually need to learn to help them progress in life? You know, you and I have talked about this before, just us in general. Why is there not some type of financial management courses or something in school? Why do we not teach kids how to manage their money?
Because it's easier to go into the unknown and just make mistakes and profit off of them.
And then live off the system?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's another big problem we have. People living off the system. That's why we pay so much money in taxes.
It's just everything is so normalized. Every single thing, every single wrong thing that we have either made fun of in the past or has been kind of looked down upon, like kind of in the shame area. All of it's all, let's normalize this.
Well, and that's
Normalize that.
another thing they talk about that's being in some of these communist books is what's wrong is changed to right, and what's right is changed to wrong. And you can see that kind of stuff happening
Yeah,
all
it's
over.
starting to flip. Yeah, I can see that.
You know, there's communist people in this country. I don't care what anybody says, thinks, or believes. There's communist people in every country. There are people that believe in that system. Whether it's here, China, Russia, Mexico, it doesn't matter. They're everywhere. So to try to deny that anybody here is trying to implement communism is just ridiculous, because it is. Like I said, they're all over. But this country was not founded and built and created to go off of a communist system. It wasn't. People leave China to get away from communism. People nearly die in China to come here to get away from communism. Communism is not a good thing. It's not. It's only good for the top shelf elites. Those are the only people that benefit in a communist society.
Isn't that what happened to Cuba too?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it never works. Communism never works because the only people that survive, that succeed, that flourish from it are the uppers. That's it. Everybody else below, that's where the word peasant comes in, because that's what you are in a communist system. They don't care about you.
Maybe
They want
I'm confused at what a communist is. I thought they were everything is even Steven. Oh, everyone makes $20,000.
That's like a level of socialism, but socialism is communism behind a blanket. Like that's pretty.
Oh.
It just doesn't. Like that's another thing. A lot of people say, "Well, I deserve this, I deserve that because he gets that." Well, in this country, you are given the equal opportunity, not the equal outcome.
Right. Yeah.
Equal opportunity. Everyone has an opportunity. You break it down to, let's say, for example, well, I'm looking at the picture on the wall there. Let's say the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has the opportunity to try to go to the NBA. Everybody's not guaranteed the outcome of going to the NBA.
Right.
It's just not how it is. Everyone has the opportunity. A lot of rich people in this world, or in this country, country, are rich off of being an entrepreneur. Starting a business, not all of them, but a lot of them. Finding out what it is they want to do, start the business, work their butts off at this business if they truly want to succeed, and make something of themselves. There's a lot of people that start businesses and they never make it. The ones that have made it, I bet you failed 2 or 3, 4, 5 times before they made it.
Yeah.
But they had the drive because of the equal opportunity. It does not mean if I start a business tomorrow doing one thing and Bill starts a business tomorrow doing another thing, that if Bill succeeds and becomes a millionaire, I need to get that too. It doesn't work that way. If I put in the work, if the product is right, if whatever it is you're doing is suitable for people, and you put in the work, the time, the effort, the sacrifice, then you both can end up with millions of dollars. But just because Bill does, but I only do half the work, but I think, well, Bill, say we're doing the same exact thing. Let's just say clothing, for example. Bill opens up a clothing line, and I open up a clothing line. Bill works 7 days a week, 10 hours a day. I work 3 days a week, 3 hours a day. Bill's rich, I'm not. Well, we have the same, that's BS. Bill sells clothes, I sell clothes. I need that money too. No, I don't. That's where the equal opportunity is separated from the equal outcome. There's no such thing as equal outcome. Doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah, it's like you think you deserve it.
Exactly, that's entitlement.
Yeah.
Entitlement is a huge problem we have right now. Entitlement. Well, they have it, I should have it. Well, why do they get that and I don't? Did you earn it? Do you deserve it? Did you work for it? Probably not, or you would have it. Not everybody is capable of certain things. Like, I would love to have my own business or something. I've told you this before. But I really don't have any just great skills that I can just go put together a business. Like, what would I even do? You know what I mean? And that's okay.
I have
Maybe
5 billion business ideas. I just need $1 billion.
Well,
so, if you want to sponsor me, hit me up. I'm on Instagram. Just kidding.
Well, and maybe one day something will come to me, and maybe I'll be able to make it work. But if not, that's okay. I'm still doing what I need to do to be able to live and provide. I'm still going to my job. I'm still doing everything I need to be doing. Like I'm still trying to be the person that I need to be. I hear Andy talk all the time. This dude's loaded. Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of money. He is very wealthy. But he tells the story of how he started. Before he started his business, which he started with supplements, He had a job painting the lines in a parking lot. He did that for I don't remember how long. Got saved up $12,000 to start his business. He said, I think for the first 3 years, I think he said, he lived in the back of his store. And over the course of like 5 years, he made $50,000. 5 years, not $50,000 a year, $50,000 in the first 5 years. So he was not making money.
There we go.
But he stuck with it because he knew that's what he wanted to do. He knew he wanted to do his own thing. And now look at him. Now he employs thousands of people.
He's a fitness phenomenon.
He has, like we've mentioned before, he's the 75 hard guy. He not only does supplements, they've branched out to so many different things. They have energy drinks. They have like the, they call them meat sticks, which is what they are, but I know there's another word for them. But they have so many different products now. They have a clothing line. Like I said, he employs thousands of people. He's very, very successful. How many people, when they start a business and only made $50,000 in 5 years, would stick with it?
Not very many.
Not many. Now, here's the kind of a, I don't know the word I'm looking for here, maybe the other side of that. Nowadays, to start a business, it's going to cost you probably more than $12,000.
Easily.
You know, and I don't know what his, I don't know if he bought the store, I can't remember, or if he had to rent it for a while, I don't remember. But either way, you can't rent a space, even if it's a small space for a small supplement store, we'll say. You can't rent that for less than a couple, $3,000, maybe $4,000 a month.
Even if you were to buy the building, because I've actually looked at storefronts, like brick and mortar, whatever you call it. Even in a small podunk town, you're still looking at $350 plus.
Yeah, we looked.
That's gonna be a $4,000 payment, realistically.
We looked at some when we were in Eagle Mountain when we had some ideas. We looked at a couple little storefronts to try to pursue what we wanted to do, and it just wasn't feasible. You could not afford to pay that. Now, I'm not saying he had it easy, because back when he started, $12,000 was still a lot of money. But
but I think like where we're coming from is like people will be like, well, that's part of the risk. You just have to go for it. And you're like, okay, that's cool story, bro. But we wouldn't make it past day 30.
Well, yeah, and
we couldn't pay the next month's rent.
But that is kind of true too, though. Like, it is a risk, it is a gamble, and it takes sacrifice. One thing that's hard for us right now, and a lot of people like us, we have young kids. We cannot put our kids in a position to where we may not have hardly anything at all for a couple of years. That's not fair to our kids to do.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, in order to do this, it has to be approached a different way. Whoops. If this is something that we wanted to do, you know. So things are definitely a lot different now than when he started. I think it was in the early 90s, I think, is when he started, or midnight, something like that.
Why didn't we start then? Why didn't we think of that? We should have just,
well, probably because I was 5 years old, so.
And I was just a little twinkle in my mom's
probably
eyes
really
still.
wasn't considering a whole lot about entrepreneurship at that time, you know.
Yeah,
But
maybe next time.
But that's kind of like we've said before about property. God, why weren't we buying property 15, 20 years ago? Well, because we were 18 years old.
Yeah, like during that 2000 crash.
You know, like at 18 years old, most people at 18 years old are trying to figure out how to go about life. They're not thinking about, man, I should buy some property. Some have.
And realistically, back then, that was expensive.
It was. I remember my dad used to say all the time, if anybody pays over $15,000 an acre, they're out of their mind.
And then we found something out here for 25, and we were like, ugh, gross.
Well, yeah, you can't even. A lot of the places around here, you were $60,000 an acre plus.
Now it's 100.
A lot of the places. Some of them were 100.
Yeah.
You know, but I remember telling my dad, don't you wish now you'd have bought every piece of property you could have got your hands on at $15,000 an acre?
Yeah.
Which obviously his answer was, well, yeah, but how are you supposed to know, right? Like you'd never know that.
Again, that was during a quite the crash.
But
So not a
but
lot
when
of
you're
people
younger,
know.
like I was saying, at 18, most people, you're trying to figure out life. A lot of people don't.
And that's when we just circle back to they do that on purpose because you're trying to figure out life. You're not set up for success. You don't know jack
Well,
crap about your finances.
yeah, and I truly believe
It's
after
all on
after a lot of the
purpose.
stuff that's been going on over the past several years, you know, 15 plus years, like I didn't know it at the time, but now that you kind of learn a little bit more and figure more things out, like I don't think they want any of us to succeed. Because if they did, it wouldn't be so hard. I'm not saying it should be easy. To be successful, it should require hard work and dedication and sacrifice and all the stuff you want to throw in there. I'm not saying it should be easy, but it shouldn't be nearly impossible either.
Yeah.
Like there has to be like some middle ground to where somebody can be like, okay, this this could this could happen. Like this is definitely a possibility. Most of us, when we try to think of, like you just said, you have a ton of business ideas, but you don't have the crap ton of money it takes to do it. You can't get that kind of money to do it because you've got to have a roof over your head. You've got to have food on the table. And a lot of that stuff takes up the bulk of the money that most of us bring home. Yeah, we have some things that we pay for right now that we probably don't necessarily need. The vehicle, we probably have a nicer, better truck than we need. The camper, we don't need the camper. So some of it is a little bit self-inflicted, and we're making it work. It's,
That's cool.
if it comes down to survival, then yeah, those things will go down the road in a heartbeat. But it's just hard to try to get ahead on anything. Like we've said for the whole time we've been together, we need to try to save. And we do, and we get there, and we kind of start to build it up a little bit. And then something happens, or something changes, or something comes up, and in the blink of an eye, it's gone.
Well, we're just grateful, at least.
Which, yeah, it's good.
That.
You do have that there for certain situations, but then you're like,
it'd be super cool to have all these lump sums that we've had, though.
Yeah.
See what that would total.
Right.
We'd be Brazilianaires.
But anyway, I think that's probably good for this week because I know we both have to get up early. But I just want to say again, like for anybody that does listen to this, we're not against each other. Like we're really not, and it doesn't matter what party you support or what your preferences are. Like that stuff just doesn't matter.
I think you should probably just think about what you're doing politically on social medias. Not you.
I don't. What
but
do you
some people, because some things just don't age quite well.
Well,
and
it's
that's
just like
embarrassing for you.
but it's okay. Like it's okay to have your own beliefs, but before people jump on ship and just start sailing away with it, like look into some things
That's
a
what
little
I'm
bit.
saying.
Do a little bit of homework. Like with the ICE stuff, like I said, I'm not saying it's okay for anybody to get shot. But it's not okay for an ICE officer to be in the bullseye of a car driving at him at who knows how fast either.
Yeah.
Like there's always two sides to the story. There's two sides of the coin. Every time. Before people jump to conclusions, they need to give it some time to marinate and find out exactly the truth about things. Because I promise you, I can't say I promise, my full-on belief, and I believe this with everything in me, ICE is not out there to hurt people. I'm sure there are some crooked bad ICE agents, just like there's crooked bad cops, just like there's crooked bad teachers, there's crooked bad politicians, bosses, like there's bad eggs in every batch. But as a whole, the ICE agents are not there to cause harm on people. They're there to do a job. And here's the thing, the people that are getting hurt by ICE, they're not even flipping illegal immigrants.
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
It's people getting in the way. And I got to bring up...
It's our own people.
I got to bring up one more thing, because I wrote this down, and I thought this was... talk about the irony, right?
It's like
okay,
the same
so...
age group and everything. Get a job.
the protesters want ICE gone because they're trying to get rid of illegals, right?
Right.
As an ICE agent, their job, when they get somebody that's suspected of being here illegally, their process is, we need to see your paperwork, right?
Right.
We need to see if you're legally allowed to be here. I guess that's wrong for them to do, according to some, right?
But is it actually?
Well, hold on. In Minnesota, we'll go back to the great state of Minnesota, which I'm sure there's some great people there, but right now it doesn't look so hot. They have neighborhoods where these, what do they call them? They don't call them protesters. They're activists. Where these activists are blocking intersections, shutting down intersections, right? They have a checkpoint. They're stopping every vehicle and they want to see your ID.
So they're going to check your docs, but no one else can
Before
check.
you can enter their neighborhood, they need to see your ID to see if you should be there or if you're ICE. Well, isn't that cute? Because it's not okay for ICE to ask for papers and proper documentation. But these nut jobs are out here demanding it for everybody that goes by.
What's the difference?
I saw a video of a lady today. She said, they asked her what she thinks of the roadblocks and stuff in her neighborhood, and she says, you can't make it up. I like it. I'm for it. And they say, okay, well, why is that? And she says, well, because what they're doing, it makes sure that we know exactly who is coming in our neighborhood. Really?
Holy cow.
Really?
I would like that for our whole country.
What do you think we're trying to do at the border, lady? Are you kidding me? We're trying to make sure we know who's coming into our freaking country. But yet you don't like the border and you don't like ICE because it's mean. It breaks up families. It's inhumane. It's, you name it, it's racist. It's phobic. It's ism. There's so many freaking names for it.
Anti all of this.
But it's okay for these whack jobs to set up checkpoints in Minnesota and check everybody's IDs as they go through. Are you freaking kidding me?
Is it not every single time that these people have an issue, they contradict themselves?
Yes, every time. That's why I'm saying
No
most of them have
matter
no
the
freaking
issue?
idea what they're even protesting.
Yeah. No
Because they're
matter
going,
the issue.
it's I don't know. And that's this is why I still say and believe and think that a lot of them are being paid, because I cannot wrap my head around someone being that stupid. I can't. I don't understand how somebody can be that stupid. That you are pissed that ICE is checking for papers, but you're going to check for papers because you want to know who's coming into your neighborhood. No shit.
Okay, I have to, okay. I have a video I saw. It has nothing to do with this, but it's so contradicting.
Okay.
So it's this little girl, she couldn't be older than 12. It's her and her sister in the back seat of the vehicle. Her dad's driving, her mom's in the front seat. The video cuts in, and the daughter is screaming, "That is manslaughter. That's manslaughter." And the mom's like, "No, if I put you in a cage and you're saying you're a cat, that's animal abuse." And the daughter is dying on this hill. I'm still embodied as a human. That's manslaughter. So the mom is like, "Don't you hear yourself? You're a human. You don't get to claim both."
First off, I think the kid ought to sit down and look up the definition of manslaughter.
Oh, for sure,
Let's start there.
But yeah, that's just what she was saying. But I thought it was so funny. I was like, this mom has got to level her out. And sure enough, she did. Even the dad was like, "This is going a little too far." The mom
To the
was like,
mom or to the kid?
He said that to the mom. And she's like, "No, she's going to learn." I was like, I'm in.
I don't even know.
Can you believe that's the Gen Alpha? That's who's going to be running the country in the next 30 to 40 years.
No, it's not, because the country won't be here if that's the way things are
You
going.
really think so?
Yeah, well, how can it survive off of that?
Off of millennials, maybe. Us.
I don't know.
Our gen.
Oh yeah, but what about our kids? What are our kids going to have if people believe they're freaking cats?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
This is another discussion you and I have had in private. How much does Brooklyn love animals? This
10
kid
out of 10.
is... I was surprised she said she wanted to hunt just because of how much she loves animals.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, she doesn't go around thinking she's a horse.
She doesn't, yeah.
Or a dog.
I mean, I wanted to be a lion so bad, but am I? No. I would have been like, yes. If I could choose the animal, I could reincarnate.
But you know, I
into.
think that's something that parents should do. You know, if the kid's acting that way and saying that kind of stuff, you need to set them straight, because I'm sorry,
That's the perfect time.
I don't care what a kid thinks or feels. You're not an animal. You're not. It doesn't get any more simple than that. You are not a freaking animal.
Yeah.
And why would you want to be?
Right.
Why, like, it's been a long time, but we've seen these videos of people on all fours, hands and knees,
Like an amusement park.
with a collar around their neck, a leash off the collar, and some other nut job leading them down walking them down the sidewalk.
And it's
These are
always,
adults.
like bright colors, like they're clearly
Listen,
going for attention.
I was going to say, I'm going to tell you what it is. Attention. What can we do to get people talking about us? To get people looking at us? Because we must be hated at home. Our parents must have hated us. Our spouse hates something, so we got to get attention. I know, let's go and act like a dog. You can be my dog. I'll be your owner.
Man, we should find some shame.
Serious, some self-respect. Have some self-respect.
Seriously.
And that's an adult. I don't know what you do about it. Take them to the pound.
Make mental institutions great again.
Like what we ought to do is when we see somebody like that that's walking a dog down the sidewalk, they both ought to go to the pound.
Okay.
Let's take them to the pound and put them in a dog kennel with 50,000 dogs and let them sit there.
Maybe we could just set the white liberal women after them and be like, remember, you guys were so mad when people were putting children on leashes to keep them with parents. So now we can't do that as a society anymore.
Yeah.
But this is okay as an adult.
But with kids, though, like,
It's so dumb.
Kids' brains are all over the place, right? There's so much going on in a kid's life. Their attention span's about that long. There's a lot going on. But when a kid starts saying that they're a cat or they're a dog or they're a whatever animal they want to be, your parent foot needs to hit the floor. And some boundaries need to be set. Because I'm sorry, sweetheart, you're not a cat. You're not a dog. There was a video, and I think it was staged, but it was funny and it was true. I'm pretty certain it wasn't real. But this girl comes in and says, "Dad, I'm hungry." Okay. It was dinner. He's like, "All right, well, dinner's done. Or dinner's ready." Well, he's got a little cat dish.
Oh.
And takes the lid off, puts cat food on, and puts it on the floor. And the girl's sitting there looking at him. And he's like, "What?" "I'm hungry." He's like, "Yeah, there's your dinner right there." "I'm not eating that." Why not?" "Well, that's cat food." He says, "Well, aren't you a cat?" "Yes, I am, but I'm not eating that." He says, "No, you are. If you want to eat, that's what you're going to eat." If you want to decide that you're not a cat, you're a human, then you can take the ears off, you can quit acting like a cat, you can sit at the table and eat with the rest of us. But if you want to be a cat, be a cat. Oh, and by the way, right around the corner, there's your litter box. That's where you can go to the bathroom. You're no longer going in the bathroom in here. And this kid's eyes were like, what? But I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, I don't think this is real, but if it is, that's how it should be.
That's how, yeah.
And that's not child abuse. You cannot label that as child abuse because that child thinks they're a cat. So, it's not child abuse. What it's called is parenting. And I wonder,
I'm gonna have to find that video and I'm gonna
but
show
I
you.
wonder how kids even get to that point to start litter. And do they really think that they're a cat, or is this an attention grab? Because maybe the kid's not getting attention at home.
I don't know. This girl was even, you know that what we use on Maddox, to brush his hair, that round like
Oh, yeah.
super pokey brush. She was brushing her own hair with that.
I know, but what I'm saying is,
So I wonder if that girl was like really trying to be.
and maybe so, but where does that get put into their head?
Yeah, like how does that start?
I'm not. Again, we're not perfect parents, but we
Maybe a lot
have
of
had our
parents
kids
catch
around
them
animals all the time. I mean, my family has the ranch. We've always had cows. Like, our kids have been involved, not so much when they were younger because we could only come out on weekends or something, but they've always been around it. Why don't our kids think they're animals? All the people that I know right here in town, why don't their kids think they're animals? They've had the same life.
That's true.
They've been around cows, horses, dogs, chickens, deer, you name it. They don't think they're animals.
I think it is a lot that parents don't. They feel bad saying no. Like, stop, because there's so many moms that are like that. I see videos all the time. Ways to tell your kid no but not saying no.
And that's why the kids act like they do.
Well, and it's like it's not that hard to just parent your kid. Like, who's in charge? You or the kid?
How often
That's
are our kids
weird.
pissed at us because we tell them no? Every day.
Every day.
It's a daily thing.
Tough
And I'm sure
out.
anybody that might be listening to this is the same exact way. So what?
Yeah.
I got told no a lot when I was a kid. No means no, and it's fine. You grow up, you're fine. You're not going to die.
And you might not understand why at the time. But later on,
It
you
doesn't
might figure
matter.
it out.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you
Yeah.
understand why or not. It's just the answer is no. The parent
They'll figure
is the
it
shot
out.
caller, and if no is said, then no is done. Like, that's what it is. But anyway, yeah, I think we'll wrap it up. I think that was
Oh, yeah.
everything that I had
I'm gonna
on
have
my
to
thing.
find that video.
The whole ice thing's just really been on my mind a lot because it's a joke, and the sooner we all realize that we're all on the same team and it's actually this freaking crooked politicians that are against us, the sooner we can realize that, the better off we'll be, because this whole thing is about division. That's what all this causes. Whether it's the LGBTQ plus IA, whatever in the hell's in that thing,
I don't even know there's.
them against straight or black against white, like every time something like that's brought up, it causes nothing but problems and it just divides us.
Yeah.
The sooner we realize that we're not each other's enemy, the better off we'll be.
Yeah,
because
like, how come no one asks questions like,
You can't.
okay, like, why were they in that situation? Why did he do that to that person? Why?
but the way
why?
things are now, as soon as you start asking questions, you're the bad person.
When it's like, okay, well, and one of the very first questions they ask, what are the colors of these people?
Doesn't matter.
Why does that part matter?
Yeah, it doesn't
Talk
matter.
about what they did and they're doing
Yep.
and what they've done. I don't
Yep.
get it. Anyway.
Well, anyway, guys, if anyone's still here, thanks. And the very last thing I said, keep that in mind. Share that with everybody. Like, we're on the same team here. We really are. At the end of the day, we're on the same team. And things will get better if we can realize that as a country. So, that being said, thanks for tuning in again. And I guess we'll pop in again next week with something different.
Thanks for the memories.
See ya.